Well, the Blues last weekend, Gilbert, they were magnificent. Who would have thought that the team finishing ninth could look so good in September?
Captain of the club, we're told, has never kicked 4 goals in a match until now. Stopping and propping. Bench gets in and tailing him was Garland. And you can put down the glasses. It's an amigo. It's an amigo that'll finish it off. Kick it, Jeffrey. He does. Carlton are on their way to Sydney.
Certainly a big game coming up, semi-final Saturday night. Let's have a look at the Sydney Swans. A couple of ins there that we don't know too much about.
Oh, well, Cunningham's in there along with Biggs. Outside, McGlynn's out with a calf, and Rowan, he's actually been omitted. But you know what, there's a big surprise there? Adam Good's name isn't there.
That's correct.
So there could be a late replacement, I believe.
Well, yeah, well, the Sydney Swans, they need to get a wriggle on, and they're playing at ANZ Stadium. Let's have a look now at the Blues, and I believe there's no changes, Gilly.
Nah, look, you wouldn't think there'd be much changes, but I think there'll be a late-minute replacement. I think McLean might come in this week from last week.
Well, I did see him during the week on TV, Gilbert, and he still looked a bit gingerly to me. So if he's not 100% fit, you can guarantee that Mick Malthouse will not let him take his place in the side. You can't take injured players into finals.
No, and Mick, Mick, he won't play him if he's 98%.
What about Chris Judd?
Oh, well, when you're a champion like him, you can get away with that. Half-fit Chris Judd is probably better than most of his teammates. But, Chris, talking about injuries, the Sydney Swans copped a lot this year. And it looks like, from the outside, like the workload has sort of got to a lot of the players that have been playing well all year. We talk about Hannaberry, Jack Kennedy, those sorts of guys. And I'm just wondering, is that perception right from the outside that, maybe they might be slowing down a bit because of that huge workload all year?
Well, I don't think they're slowing down. The guys that they've brought in are younger guys that are quick, and they're very young in terms of football age, but they're just lacking experience, I think. And watching them over the last couple of weeks, especially against Hawthorn, it's just that experience factor that they lacked, especially in that third quarter, where the ball, during finals football, sometimes you just got to kill a football. And we see Rowan being omitted from the side. He was one of those guys that weren't doing that at times. So I think it's more about experience that they're lacking at the moment, and that's what's killed them in injuries.
Duck, the Swans have really struggled inside 50s, and last week they only took 8 marks to Hawthorn's 20. That's a big worry because they've got a lot of tall timber down there. They should be taking more marks.
Yeah, they have. And look, that's where they struggled last week against a very good Hawthorn defence. And it was always going to be the worry that whether they went in too tall, and they did. And the guys, Pike and Mummy and these guys, and we know Tippett can all take marks, but up against a good defence, and that's what Hawthorn did. They just got the ball to the ground and they ran it out in that. The first half it was even Stevens, but Tippett really couldn't get into it. It became a little bit one-dimensional looking for Tippett. They go to him quite a lot for a guy that probably played his best consistent footy of his career since he's been at the Swans, but now they're a bit of a one-trick pony, Sydney. They have to get back to where they were, and that's play team footy and share it around a bit.
Rockin, Cruiser. I was watching him on the news yesterday, and he was walking around pretty sore. I don't think he's going to come up. Matty Warnock, he's going to be a key if Cruiser doesn't come up.
Well, I think Warnock's been good. I mean, Cruiser's first half of the year, he copped an injury and he's come back, and he's actually been really good, Gilly, and I think Warnock up there as well helping. You can sort of rest Cruiser in the forward line. He can take a mark. I actually find, in my personal opinion, I think Cruiser likes to dominate it, and I think that's sort of, again, probably a little bit of a pride thing. That's just me.
Dominate the ruck.
Well, he plays well when he's covering the ground ruck, and then Warnock. But coaches look at it as luxury, but some players like to dominate that, and he's one of those guys, Cruiser.
Michael, Daniel Hannaberry doesn't seem to be as effective as he was at the start of the year, but he might be carrying injury. But do you like the way he plays? Because I think he's a really important player.
Yeah, very hard runner, runs very hard. I think he has got an injury, and he's getting through the games, but certainly not dominating like he was. A very, very good player though.
And Duck Juddy's second half last week, as I said, a half-fit Chris Judd is better than most of his teammates, but he stood up when the side really needed him.
He was unbelievable. It was a game of two halves, really. Richmond dominated the first half, weren't able to quite put them away. They won the contested possessions, and after half-time, really gutsy move by Mick Malthouse as well to throw Chris Judd into the middle. Gibbs all of a sudden went into the middle. We know Gibbs has played a bit of everywhere, but it wasn't just Judd. It was Gibbs and their captain Murphy that all just got on top through the middle of the ground, and that's why Chris Judd is an absolute champion.
But great players like Juddy and that champions, they come to this occasion, finals, they eat this sort of stuff, and he loves it.
It was a great bit of emotion when he kicked that goal and you don't see Chris Judd celebrate goals, and there was a fist pump, and you just saw the joy. I think he would have got a lot more out of that win, unexpected win, than what he has probably in other wins that he's played for.
We need to get some tips, but I thought Mitch Robertson was very important. He made a serious blue, but he put his body in and he turned the game, I thought, for Carlton as well. He was great.
Coach grey hair, I reckon, Mitch.
Tips, please, Doug.
I think that last year's premiers will get over Carlton.
Sydney from the King.
I'm going to stick on the run with the Blues. I think the Blues are going to get over them.
Doug and Ronnie.
No, I love this guy beside me. I reckon he's right. I think Carlton, they've just got nothing to lose. They weren't even meant to play finals. I reckon they're going to run over Sydney Swans.
Hey, they've got a final to lose.
No, well, I think Carlton are going to go nicely. They're going to run over Sydney Swans. They're a little bit slow. I think Carlton, they're up and about at the moment.
Michael?
Yeah, I think I might go Carlton after their effort last week. They want to. Sydney need to be a fair way ahead because I think Carlton's got a head of steam up and they might run over the top of them.
With the big ground at ANZ Stadium there, Gilly, I'm really worried about that because if you let little guys like Garlett and Eddie Betts run around, they could be very dangerous. So they need to man them up early, not let them influence the game. But I think Sydney will win this one because they're experienced. So Sydney for me.
Yeah, now look, I reckon Carlton have played two real tough games in the last fortnight, and I don't know how much left in the tank they've got. And like you said, the big oval at ANZ Stadium, they seem to be coming back in the second halves all the time. Sydney Swans won't let them do that. Sydney will win.